All the years I've been talking to you guys and helping you resolve issues that you may be having with your dogs and cats, one of the things that constantly comes up is dogs and cats for that matter, but more so with dogs, but cats also, that are fearful of different noises, noise phobias as I call them. What creates these noise phobias and can you do anything about it? People have tried a million different things. Let me give you some examples, okay? Number one, a dog's sense of hearing, as a cat, but a dog's sense of hearing is incredible. And they hear things the way we do, but even much, much better. But the difference is that they hear things in a long distance, but they don't see it the way we do. They don't know where it's coming from the way we do. Very often a dog only reacts to things by excessive noise phobia or walks away if it's something they don't hear on a regular basis. For example, a fire horn going off. These are the type of things that trigger a thunderstorm, a 4th of July fireworks. All of these things can really freak out a dog, even a car backfiring or someone yelling out in the street. So it's important to try to figure out what noise is your dog really fearful of. Let me give you a prime example. I wrote an article many years ago for Baby Talk magazine called What to Expect from Your Pet When You're Expecting. What about just the noise of a baby? I'll get into other noises, but what about the noise of a baby? They're burping, they're crying, God knows what they're doing. Well, before a baby comes into the house and these noises kind of freak the dog out along with other things, I often recommend that I in fact have an audio on my website that you can download all the different sounds that a baby is going to make. And if you can play that in a very low volume, increasing it gradually over a period of 7 or 8 months, you have that much time to prepare. What often happens, and if the dog always gets a positive result after hearing it, little by little, the sound of a baby is no longer going to make the dog freak out. Same thing with cats. So what I'm saying here, and this is really important, because so many dogs wind up at shelters, and they wind up here, they run away when they hear a noise, they get lost, God forbid knows what happens to them. So if you have a dog that's a phobic, that's noise phobic, it's up to you to resolve the issue. You can almost download now any sound from the internet. So let's say your dog is afraid of thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are a little bit more difficult because it's not just the sound of the thunderstorm. It's not just the lightning, but dogs actually feel the changes in the atmospheric pressure that can trigger their reaction as well. That's why very often before the thunder even comes or the lightning comes, your dog may already be ready on target, realizing that the trigger point is coming, what's going to make the dog react. So let's take thunderstorms. What I recommend that you do is download the sound of thunder with the rain. And again, over a period of time, play it at a slow volume, increasing it gradually to desensitize the dog to the sound of rain. Does it work 100% of the time? No, but very often, even with the most phobic dog, it calms them down a little bit. But you have to work on it. You have to make the commitment that this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to resolve it. Firecrackers. How many calls do I get on the pet show from people who have dogs and cats start just petrified come the 4th of July? Well, fireworks are there. I wish they weren't. But again, and did you realize that more dogs and cats get lost on the 4th of July more than almost any other day because of the noises going on? That's why it's imperative, specifically on that day, you keep your pets inside. Getting back on track here, though. The thing I want you to do is, again, using the same approach, you can download the sound of firecrackers and, again, desensitize the dog to it. Don't overdo it. Just make it a few seconds at first, and barely audible, and over a period of time, you can actually increase it to where you have that sound. Now, let me go over a few things with you. Does this work with every dog? No. There are certain dogs that have been so traumatized, maybe dogs that were tied up in yards, and God bless my listeners like you and people that follow me because you have so many dogs that have been rescued off the streets and other situations. We have no idea what these poor dogs have been through and the association they have with these sounds. I've worked with dogs that came out of a really horrendous crime-ridden neighborhoods, and the dogs were just petrified of the sound of guns. Not that it was a problem, but they associated the sound of guns with thunder and other sounds that I had to work on to desensitize them with. Years ago, I had the opportunity working with a very, very well-known celebrity that was moving from Malibu, California to Gramercy Park in New York City. DL, those are the initials, okay? A big comedian, had a late-night show. One of the problems was that his dogs had never been exposed to the sounds of New York City. Now, if you've never been in New York City versus the sounds of laid-back Malibu, it's a whole different ballgame. You know, you got the guy running down the Chinese food, the guy with the pizza, the guy yelling, the taxi cab driver, just the incredible, and I love it, but that's my hometown originally. But the sounds of New York can be really freaking out to your dog. And not just the sounds, but the smells as well. But let's deal with the sound. So again, I did the same thing. I made a video and an audio of, actually video, I was able to make a video of this because videos are around then. When I first started, they weren't. Make a video of and the sounds of New York City and do exactly what I'm recommending. You desensitize the dog. So here's the bottom line. I can go into a lot more detail on specifics. Just remember this. If you have a dog or a cat, but mostly with dogs, that's really fearful of the sounds of a thunderstorm, firecrackers, any specific thing that the dog may be fearful of. Maybe your next door neighbor has a Harley. I did the same thing. When I got my first Harley Davidson, I had Rio and Cisco at that time. And what I did is I actually recorded the sound of a Harley Davidson before I brought mine home. So it didn't freak them out when they heard me start it up at the house. Desensitized them little by little. Think it out from the dog's point of view. I love them. They're incredible. But sometimes you just can't discuss with them and say, listen, don't be afraid. It's just thunder and lightning. Building up their confidence, letting them realize that those sounds are nothing to be totally fearful of can make all the difference in the world. We'll go into more depth, and if you listen to the Pet Show, you know I talk about this all the time. But remember, if your dog or your cat, but more so with dogs, have a phobia about noises and really freak out, it's devastating to them. It really is devastating to them. Take the time to desensitize them. As I said, you can download the sounds of so many different things, even a backfiring truck off the internet. So good luck to you. Keep your pets safe, keep them happy, and keep them inside. I'm Warren Eckstein.